Welcome to Cosmic Cassie Taurus. This is going to be your monthly love and relationship reading for September. Taurus, don't take anything that doesn't resonate. You obviously know this. And by resonate, I mean if you have to grasp for it, if you have to try to force it into your life to make it fit and to understand it, it's probably not your message, and I recommend you not take it unless it's really, really good and you want to call it in. Taurus, if it doesn't resonate or you just simply want to check out more readings, I always recommend sun, moon, rising signs. The rising sign is going to be the most accurate reading for all signs because your ascending sign does not change as frequently as the sun or moon sign. So if you are looking for that constant stable energy, definitely check out that one. Otherwise, Taurus, let's go ahead and jump right into this. Again, this is going to be love and relationships. We're going to do a finance and career later in the month. So let's see, what does Taurus need to know for September about love and relationships? Okay, we got a couple falling out here. This is an oracle deck. By the way, Taurus, I was kind of guided to not use tarot, so we are going to see what the oracle gives us. Let's get one more for Taurus. One more for Taurus here. Oh, started to give me one and then three and then one. Taurus, we have truth, reversal, and seduction. Taurus, I immediately get the energy off of this that there's maybe some kind of truth that was revealed to you, some kind of truth that you revealed to someone else here. There's definitely something around, I don't want to say open communication, but definitely like revealing something or giving and receiving some kind of truth here. But it's almost like as soon as you received it or as soon as you gave it, you kind of wish that you didn't, and you almost, the way that I'm getting this, I'm going to speak in this term. Obviously, roles can be reversed, but I'm getting it strongest in this direction, is that Taurus, you gave someone truth, but immediately after giving truth or revealing something, you almost wanted to revert back into a mode of, man, I should have just kind of like seduced them instead of telling the truth. So there's definitely something in September that I think is going to come out where you might have the urge or the inclination to try to seduce someone for whatever reason. Giving them the truth did not do what you wanted it to do. And so it's easier to kind of get into a mode, I think, of getting what you want by getting into this more seductive energy. And seductive doesn't have to mean sexual. It doesn't have to mean, being intimate, but it's almost like being very flirtatious, being very charming, being very attractive, using the right words, having that gift of gab, kind of knowing how to lure someone in. And it's like you tried to get away from doing that, and instead you were like, I'm going to be direct and honest and no more game playing. But as soon as you did that, there's immediately this energy of like, man, I wish I did the game playing instead of being direct. Okay. Let's see. Why did we immediately not feel good about giving the truth? What happened there? Why did we want to take it back? Because with that reversal, it definitely feels like, oh my God, I did that, and now I want to take it back. Okay. We have the tomb, we have thief, and we have intellect. Taurus, I feel like whatever truth that was given here, what happened is when you gave the truth, it almost, the tomb kind of feels intense here, where it's almost like we felt instant death. I'll try to explain this the best way I can. It's almost like telling the truth, revealing the truth is being vulnerable. And for you, that's not something you do. And so it's like as soon as you were vulnerable, it's like word vomit, because it keeps showing me flashes of like a movie when someone does word vomit and they accidentally spit out like the whole truth and nothing but the truth. And then suddenly they realize, oh my gosh, why did I do that? I wish I could take it all back. And it's because there's this internal despair of like, what happens now? I can't believe I revealed that. Why did I do that? I can't believe I said that. There's like a ton of fear that happens after you tell the truth. And then with the thief and intellect following, it's almost like, Taurus, it's a weird energy because the thief and the intellect give me really trickster kind of energy here. And it's almost like, let me throw the truth at you. And then because I have this immediate reaction of regretting that I said the truth and feeling like almost overwhelmed, like internal death that I just did that, I'm gonna like say something really funny, or I'm gonna like show bad behavior almost to make it seem like the truth wasn't actually the truth. That was actually me doing something else, and that's not really what I meant. It's like trying to cover up your vulnerability, trying to do something to dissuade someone from thinking that you are being truthful and vulnerable. It's like you want to revert back into this trickster energy. And even with the seduction after reversal, it's like you want to revert back into this like really charming, sexual, flirtatious energy. It's like you have a really hard time telling the truth and then sitting in it. It's like you know how to tell it, but can you sit in it after you tell it? You know how to be vulnerable, but are you able to sit in that vulnerability after you've given it or after you've shown it? And I feel like, Taurus, this is an obstacle that's going to come up really heavily in September because whatever truth that you spoke here, it's almost like September because I don't know what happened after. I want to ask before I say that, but what happened? What happened is we have Magician. What happened after Taurus told the truth? And the Magician, by the way, that's not answering my question of what happened after you told the truth to make you want to like revert back here. I think it's a natural response for you to want to like revert to the very opposite side of the energy when you tell the truth or when you get really vulnerable, because it just is really uncomfortable, so you immediately run to the other side. But with the Magician falling out, that lets me know there's some kind of, it's a control thing here. You're trying to create and control something here. I think that was the intention of telling the truth possibly, but what happened? What happened after Taurus was vulnerable with truth, with honesty? What happened? What happened was remembrance. I think that what it did is I immediately, as soon as I see remembrance, I get this flood of emotion, and it's sadness and it's grief. And the best way I can explain what I feel and see is I'm telling the truth about something, I'm being vulnerable, I'm being open to maybe someone else. And because I'm doing that, it uncovers all these emotions that I like didn't share, all these emotions that I tucked away, that I suppressed. It's almost like, Taurus, when you speak your truth or when you get really vulnerable about your truth, it reminds you of like all these emotions that you kind of avoid and suppress and don't like to think on. And so it's almost that saying, like, when the floodgates open, they open. When it rains, it pours. It feels like that because it's accompanied by a lot of sadness. I feel a lot of sadness. I feel like I want to cry. And it's simply because I was vulnerable. And maybe that vulnerability triggered memories of why it was so difficult for you to be vulnerable in the first place. And because you never like dealt with it, it's creating a lot of sadness and grief when you are vulnerable, because you kind of didn't move through the healing process when that initial wound appeared. I hope I'm explaining that the right way, but that's the best way I can like give it to you with what I'm kind of getting. What's the best way for Taurus to move through the month of September? What's the best way for Taurus to move through the month of September? Show me the best way for Taurus to move through the month of September. You got 2 that flipped over. We have the path and we have patience. So Taurus, I kind of got this when the tomb came out, and then like the trickster, the thief, and intellect energy came out. I kind of got this energy pop in, but then it was so subtle that I was like, oh, maybe it'll come out next month, like, you know, in October or something. But no, it's clearly coming out again. So you have path and patience. With that path card, and we have heartache on the bottom of the deck, I just noticed that. So I think definitely a lot of emotions are being brought up and triggered right now from having like to be vulnerable. But what I wanted to say with that path card, I do feel like you are being guided to change, Taurus. You typically move through life with this seduction energy, with the thief and intellect, like kind of like trickster energy, where it's like you stay on the surface and you are very coy and you're very flirtatious and playful and even like humorous in order to avoid kind of like the deep truth or the vulnerability. So you don't get vulnerable with people, but you do connect with them. But you have like a lot of blockage around moving past the surface into a more vulnerable space. And I do feel like Spirit has actually been working with you and guiding you a lot to try to get you to see that you do this and then to heal through it. And I think they're challenging you with situations in your life that probably are going to surface in September as well. But these challenges are different situations that require you to be vulnerable. And it's like you do the situation, you know, you get vulnerable, but you immediately want to run back to what you're used to doing. And then it's like, okay, and then we do it again. And then we want to run back to doing it the old way. And I think you're really being guided to do things a different way when it comes to your emotions, how you show up, how you speak your truth, how you get vulnerable with people. They're really challenging you and pushing and encouraging and supporting you to kind of transform that energy into something different. And I think it's because however you've been doing it has not been working out for you, if this is resonating for you, Taurus. And with that patience, it's obviously letting you know it's going to require time and patience with yourself. It's not with someone else, it's with yourself. You must be patient with yourself as you kind of show up in this way that makes you really uncomfortable and that you're really not used to doing. And then you really want to go back to like reverting back to the old way of doing things and how you were comfortable. But it's like, this is a growth pain right now. And that's kind of what you're going through in September. So the best way for you to keep moving through the month is going to be to stay on that path of like being uncomfortable so you can grow. It's putting you in positions and situations where it's gonna feel uncomfortable. It's not gonna feel familiar. It's gonna feel like you're dying inside, and it's gonna bring up a lot of grief and emotion, but it's because those things need to be processed. They need to be released, and they need to be accepted that like, yeah, that's a part of you and you don't have to hide it and you don't have to cover it up. The more that you own it and you feel it and release it, the better off you are. So they don't want you to divert from your path just because it's difficult and like emotionally upheaving. A lot of old memories and old feelings and things like this. I think you're probably going to be triggered in a lot of different ways in September when it comes to your emotions. Taurus, that is, I don't know why, but they're saying end it with a love oracle. They just did this with with Aries. And I really wasn't planning on ending it with any card, especially Love Oracle, because this kind of didn't take... Maybe that's why they're telling me to end it with Love Oracle, Taurus, because I don't think I really revealed too much about your love life. And so they're like, throw a little extra in there for Taurus. So let's close it out with a couple messages from Love Oracle, and if they resonate, they resonate. If they don't, I apologize that this was more about you than your lover. Maybe you're single, I don't know. But Taurus, later in the month, I am going to be doing love. I'm doing love. I am going to be doing finance and career, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Also, if you want a personal reading, that information is in the description box down below, as well as a place for you to donate if you so feel empowered to do so. Taurus, for our messages here, and I'm only going to pull 3. We have keys on a ring at the bottom, many options, decisions, unconventional, string along, one night stand. We have axe, breakup, separation, stop the pattern, silent treatment, abandonment. And then we have healing heart, healing from heartbreak, freedom from toxic relationship or addiction. And then we have girl with snake, empath and narcissist paradigm, being charmed or used, enable boundaries. What I get with this, Taurus, and I'll just give a really quick one because I didn't want this to go too long. With that axe, I definitely feel like this is probably someone. This definitely could be about whoever you kind of spoke this truth, whoever you got vulnerable with. It's very possible that their reaction was not the reaction that maybe you wanted. I'm not sure what the truth was and what you expected out of it. But whatever it is, I do feel like this person might trigger you to feel abandoned or neglected in some way, because the axe is a really strong energy of like a really hard boundary. It's literally like, it's not even scissors where you're cutting string. It's like the axe is, I'm cutting down a tree. I'm cutting down something solid, something that had a foundation, something that had roots, something that has been growing for a very long time. And I think, Taurus, the way that you're feeling is that this person is cutting that tree down. They're cutting down something really significant that has been around for a long time between you two or with you two. With healing heart, this is letting you know that there is a need to possibly keep separated from this person, or to like it may seem like possibly a negative thing that you feel this way about them, but there's something with like the separation could be what heals your heart, or even them triggering these feelings in you is enabling you to feel them so that you can heal them, because unless we feel them, we're never going to understand them. So there is something healing about the situation that's happening. And ending it with girl with snake, empath and narcissist paradigm, being charmed or used, enable boundaries. I feel like this is the old energy that you might want to revert to, but to be honest, I almost get this energy more as the other person's energy, not actually yours. So I don't know if they think they're in that empath narcissist paradigm with you, if they feel like they're being charmed or used, or like they're setting like hard boundaries. Oh, that makes sense, because you feel like this person is axing you, which is, again, a very hard boundary. It's a very deep cut of like, I'm getting rid of this. So I think this person might feel like that makes sense, because if you're used to being in this energy where you are charming and flirtatious, you are a little trickster, like you know how to like lure them in, they're remembering that and they're like, absolutely not. So I think they're axing you because they think you're up to no good when it comes to them. They don't want to be used. They don't want to be taken advantage of here. It's like they're setting really hard boundaries because they don't want to have this like paradigm with you that's unhealthy for them. Again, roles can be reversed, and this is also all just perspective. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. But for whatever reason, again, I think that this person, I don't know if you don't feel like this is you, Taurus, the healing heart, where it's like it's allowing you to heal, it's definitely this person, because this is their energy, and I definitely get some of their energy from this as well, where it's almost like staying away from you enables them to heal themselves. It allows them to not have toxicity or like obsessions or whatever it is that they were experiencing with you. It's like, I'm going to deeply cut this off and get rid of it so that I can heal and not have this feeling of being used or charmed. So maybe Spirit needed you to have a little bit of their perspective. But there you go, Taurus. Again, I'll be following up with a reading later in the month, as well as your new moon and full moon readings. And if you do want that personal, the description is in the box below, or it's in the description box below.